This time we'll call the meeting of August 18th, 2014 to order. Councilmember Friend, will you lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you very much. Roll call, please.
Thank you, Councilmember Friend. Mayor Blasquez.
Here.
Thank you. Councilmember Valdivia.
Here.
Councilmember Gomez.
Here.
City Manager Avra.
Present.
And City Attorney Diaz.
Present.
Thank you.
Verification of agenda posting.
The agenda was posted on the bulletin board at City Hall on August 13th at 4:48 p.m. per Government Code Section 54954.2.
Thank you. Tonight, we're going to recognize a certain individual that's dedicated quite a bit of time to the City of Hollister. Mr. Scatini, can you please come to the podium?
Who authorized this?
I have no idea. Robbie has been a dedicated council member for quite a few decades, I hear. For a few years, centuries, what was it? You know, Robbie, I think, is the only person that's never missed a council meeting, which is pretty impressive. It's tough to find the time to get to all the council meetings and to all the committee meetings. It's been an honor to work with you, Robbie, and a pleasure, and I do miss you. But at least we'll see each other in town.
Okay.
Congratulations. Thank you very much for all you've done. I'm sure all the council members want to say something to you.
I just want to thank all the council members and Bill Avera and the city attorneys, the ones that we do have. And I really enjoyed it, and honestly, I've been off about 2 weeks. I really miss it. I'll be back, though.
Good, we'll see you then.
Any council members
Thank
want
you.
to say anything to Robbie? He's partying on his way out.
Yeah, I'll say something.
Yeah,
Are we scheduling one of these every meeting?
I'll say something. I want Robbie to know, even though that we don't always see eye to eye, in fact, considerable amount of time we don't see all that eye to eye, but I don't think the city's ever gonna find a more dedicated person as far as the job it takes to do to be a city councilman. I think he takes it to heart. I think he goes to every meeting that he possibly can because he wants to represent the city. And I know that people in the finance department are real happy that you've been away for 2 weeks. They've been partying real good. So
But we're keeping an eye on them, Robbie, for you.
we'll
Don't
watch
worry.
them for you. So you've taught us well, Rob. So thank you very much.
I'm not gonna say goodbye because like you said, I'll be seeing you, you'll be back, right? I just want to say that Robbie broke my record in attendance. He broke it, you know, but it wasn't my fault because I had to have surgery or else we'd be right in there, right? Okay, well, that's all I want to see, and it's been a, pleasure working with you, and, we love you. I'll see you later.
Excellent. All right, let's move forward with item A, consent resolution. Are there any items council would like to pull?
I'd like to pull A6.
Any other items from council? Speaker requests?
3, 5, 6, and 7.
Okay. Is there a motion?
I move that we approve items A1, 2, 4.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Against? 4-0 vote. Move forward to item A3.
Keith Snow. Where's Mr. O'Connor has the microphone?
He's sleeping in the back.
We're doing A2?
A3.
Good evening, council. On A3, it says the law about lawsuits against the city. one thing if you guys do, we hire other people to our jobs, that prevents our lawsuits against us. Because every lawsuit you guys do, like one lawsuit, you are another company to your trees, and the tree landlord says the property. You guys deny the claim. I feel as a person, a leader, focus leader, like me, right? You should not deny a claim against a citizen that gets their property damaged. So one day you guys should overlook all that. And then you guys should do, when there's a lawsuit, should be for record. What's important, like people get fired and all that, the city, you guys should take a whole record for the people. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Are there any other speakers on item A3?
No.
Is there a motion, council? So move. Is there a second? All in favor? Aye, motion carries, 4-0 vote. Item A5,
Keith Snow?
I was wondering, want to tell more about the, on the 5, about the airport widening. Do you want, when you guys see that, right? Once you see like how much it costs to fix the airport. That's the main key factor in the city. It's called communication. So when you guys do that, you want you guys see what's about, like more public, like a public comment, right? When you guys do things on the agenda, when you agenda items, it's better for a person that watches on TV, so they don't have the agenda, common sense, right? You guys should at least say something that the can does. So it's called communication.
Mr. Snow, do you have a question?
Nothing. I said a question, but not answering a question. That's what I'm saying.
Well,
Want to give me an answer.
okay, let me explain real quick again, Mr. Snow. This is part of the agenda that we have to study before we come to the meeting to move the city forward. We have to do a lot of research ourselves. This is available to the public to come read it. If we read each item on this agenda tonight, we'd all be here till midnight,
Okay.
and it's not going to do
But-
anyone any good.
But you're as the Lord said, Your Honor, right? For one, it's called misorganization.
Okay, do you have any
No,
questions?
Points,
sir?
right? Before you guys put things on, right, on the agenda, feel free to what's called research.
Okay, let me
And do you
explain,
have,
Mr. Snow, please. Let me
questions you can
explain
answer?
something. This is a,
Excuse me, sir.
for the
I'm
public,
done.
you want the public to know, let me explain it. This is a $3.2 million grant from the FAA to improve the airport.
And under that.
And
when
so
you-
this
when-
is something that took a lot of research, a lot of
and-
time to
okay.
study. A lot of environmental work went behind this. It's not something that just popped up last week.
And I'm telling the part of last week.
Okay,
And
is
I've
there any
been-
other specific
I've
question you
been
have on
at
this?
meetings before, but it's called communication. So even though you are going to get the grant, just like well, the fire departments get $2.2 million.
Mr. Snow, thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Is there a
sir.
motion from the council?
Move to approve.
Second.
All in favor? All right, motion
Aye.
carries, 4-0 vote. Move forward to item A6.
Keith Snow?
All right, it's council. All right, just like the skateboard park. One day I put on the agenda to talk and you guys skip me. To a point, right? On the skateboard park, I tell Mary over there, right? And the things that you can do less cost, right? That if you have perverts over there, right? They should do most of the work. So that's my idea to you guys for free. Let's go. It's called finance fee, right? You pay money for finance fee, but I'm getting that.
Did you have a
for free.
question,
Thank you.
Mr. Snow?
All right, just send my question.
Okay. And Councilmember Friend has a question?
Yeah, Clay, on the, I understand that our lease ran out in
Correct.
2012, and it was just extended, that's how the lease is written, it just stays
Yes.
until something changes. So now we're going to spend the city's money to expand the skateboard park out into the basketball courts.
Correct.
And stuff. It just irks me that we have to go to the county and look for permission to do this. When it's, you know, the city is paying the money, willing to upfront the money to do this, or the biggest lion's share of it. They won't maintain it, they won't clean it, they won't do any, they want to be whole and harmless against anything that's in that. But we still have to go to the board of directors, board of supervisors, just to get their permission to do any extension on this. And I understand that, I guess my question is, what are we gonna do if for some reason the board of supervisors is not okay with this? How do we answer to the people that came to us asking for this change? How are we gonna answer that?
Well, that's a valid question. I don't know if I have an answer right now for that, but
I don't know either.
Yeah.
I think we ought to just do it and then beg for forgiveness down the road, I guess.
well, I guess the one thing that I would mention is that the property that we're talking about using there at the Veterans Memorial Park does belong to the county. So that's why we have to go through this process of entering into a revised lease with the county. We entered into one when we first built the skate park years ago, in 1998, I believe it was. And so as you've mentioned, it's expired, so that's why we're going through this process. But, yeah, so I understand your concern.
Okay.
Thank you.
I just wanted to vent my frustration, I guess, with the county. Okay, thank you.
All right.
I didn't mean to put you on the spot.
Oh, not a problem.
Thank you very much. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion to approve A6.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries, 4-0 vote.
Thank you.
Move forward to item A7.
Keith Snow?
Council, this is the main one. This one is on the ballot I oppose. So no, we should not raise taxes, but no one, like I said before, this is the tax, right? And for the GOT tax, right? So the points, right? When you, okay, and this while back, I was here in this council chambers, right? Have you guys ever, when we got two things, to fish, fishing, agri, and spaghetti.
Mr. Snow, do you have a question about this item?
I know. Do you guys do the bed and breakfast for the rent for the $50,000? The thing, sort of thing. So you guys are it's on the ballot, right? So right on the tax for the hotels, right? With the county did that too. So points, right?
Mr. Snow, that's not what this item's about.
Well, ain't it for the raising taxes on hotel? And it's number 7.
That's not what this is about.
What is
It's not
about?
about
that?
raising the tax, sir.
What's about 7? About the
It's about incentivizing hotels to come to our community so we can have more lodging, so we can bring more tourists to our community.
And I know, and tax for the hotel tax.
That's another item. That's not what this is about, sir.
Well, that's when I called earlier. That's what one that talk about the tax.
Did you do research on this before you came tonight?
Well, yes, and I called Jerry.
Okay. Is there another specific question you have?
None. That's it. When once explain to me what's about the in hotels about the tax, right?
No,
hotel.
that's not what this item's about.
Okay, what's about hotel, right?
It's about incentivizing hotels
Yeah.
to build here in our community
I know
so we can bring more tourists.
I know about the gateway, right? The gateway project right there on
No,
San Felipe.
it's about all projects
I
that will
know.
come to our city.
I know that's one you guys can do, right?
We're hoping. Do you have a specific question, sir?
I know all that. I know about that.
You don't have another question?
No, but I am observant. So
Okay, thank you.
thank you.
Is there a
Thank you.
motion?
So move.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries, 4-0 vote. Item B, no business. C, public input. This is time for anyone in the audience to speak on any item not on the agenda and within the subject matter jurisdiction of the council. When the city clerk calls your name, please please come to the podium, state your name and city for the record, and speak to the city council. Each speaker will be limited to 3 minutes. Please note that state law prohibits the city council from discussing or taking action on any item not on the agenda. Do we have any speakers?
Yes, Mr. Mayor. David Uboy?
Good evening, Mayor and members of the City Council. Good to see you again. Maybe before I begin, I want to also chime in and thank my dear friend Robbie Scottini for all his years of public service and dedication. So, but I have a serious topic to announce tonight, and it's about the drought. And as we find ourselves in a struggle to get through the worst drought in California's recorded history, instead of hoping and waiting for an El Nino to bail us out, we may consider that it is time to act, and decisions can be made individually and collectively to help us conserve our water locally. When we work together, good things can happen with assistance by the Water Resources Association of San Benito County and through the water agencies they represent. Locally, we have reduced water use from 212 gallons per capita per day in the late 1990s to 161 gallons per capita per day in 2010 and are on track to achieve 129 gallons per capita by year 2020, hopefully. The Green Business Committee of the San Benito County Chamber of Commerce, with help from Farmhouse Communications, the San Benito County Business Council, and the Water Resources Association of San Benito County and the Natural Resource Conservation District are holding a drought workshop on Thursday, the 28th of August, to bring attention to local programs and services available to agriculture, business, and residents. May we all learn how to use water efficiently so we can conserve our local water supply. The admission is free, and it comes with a free breakfast. And it's at Payne's Restaurant. Seating is limited, and so you can reserve your seat by calling this number, 831 area code 637-4378. The event will be filmed by CMAP TV. Hopefully get the word out there. And yes, even when we get past the drought, we need to continue to use water as efficiently as possible. Between climate change, a growing population, and environmental problems in the Delta, this finite resource must be used sparingly. Even during a wet year, it takes a lot of energy to move and store water. Plus, the treatment of water is costly, and by decreasing our water use, we can decrease the necessity of infrastructure improvements, as well as taking pride in doing what we can to be responsible stewards of the land. As Ben Franklin said, and he stated in Poor Richard's Almanac, when the well's dry, we know the worth of water. Thank you.
Thank you very
See you
much.
at the workshop.
You said
Question?
that was at Payne's Restaurant?
Payne's Restaurant,
Payne's.
right on time.
Keith Snow?
Let's see. Any other questions?
We can't ask questions on
No, I can't ask
public,
things
no.
on the agenda. Right.
Yeah.
Council, one thing I'm gonna miss, Ross D. You know, we have differences. One thing that I will recognize, he is very smart and knowledgeable, just like me, very observant. Everything on the agenda always has questions, but he never gets answers. Sometimes, right? So for example, one thing I noticed a while back, that you guys are okayed on the vets to get the officer background thing, and then you guys already made a decision, and the federal government said, well, withdraw the answer, right? Then came back again on the agenda. Is he so smart and knowledgeable person, councilman? He goes, why is it back on the agenda? He's all mad and pissed, because that's called miscommunication in the intelligence manager. Why to do that? He's the guy with the answers. Like me, I want answers too. He was a guy that's very smart and knowledgeable. So one thing we need to do is, like Casey was said too, he wants to feel like, and I want that too. I'm trying my best because I want to cancel. But I haven't got no emails yet that I would need emails for information so I can do things, know more about city, Zilla County. So points, right? You guys should think of twice, right, what you guys do. Because I like putting things in paper, but I have no choice to put it in paper, right? So that we're at the same page. I want to be at the same page. So once you guys do again, have people, committee, what answers. What answer in our community. Because the point's right, you never ever, you guys have your own choice. Who you pick, what you do. When you guys do invoices, you guys don't spend local, you guys spend long distance. So thank you very much and have a good night.
Thank you very much.
And the one thing too,
That's
the
it, Mr. Sum.
Barnett, you guys are over all the time on Barnett. So look at that too. That's violate the law.
Thank you very much.
Marty Richmond?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Marty Richmond from Hollister. I recently wrote 3 articles concerning problems that I see with the Gavilan College, and basically it boils down to this. In 2004, the people in this county voted for a bond issue that they were promised there was going to be an educational center here in Hollister. Just on the bond issue alone, the people, which was a $108 million bond issue with interest was going to be $180 million. The people of Hollister so far have put in just on the bond issue about $10 million. They also put in another $4 million every year to keep Gavilan going. So I don't know what you're getting out of property taxes revenue, but Gavilan College alone is getting from San Benito County a total of about $5 million a year. I was shocked to learn that they intended to take $17 million out of the dwindling fund of Measure E and use it to move a joint power authority that exists in Monterey into Coyote Valley to get it operating before the educational center down here. The only thing they've done so far down here is they've spent $10 million for a piece of land that's 5 times the size of what they really need, because it's set up for 10,000 students. We only have 2,000 students currently in Gavilan, and even if it doubled, we'd have 4. If it tripled, we'd have 6, but we would not have 10. This is a piece of land where they want to build a football field, they want to build all this stuff, they want to build an empire. Meanwhile, $10 million later, not a single student here has taken $1 worth of benefit out of that tax. They fixed, yes, they fixed some stuff at Gavilan, but they spent $20 million just for the land in Coyote Valley because they want to build an empire up there. Now, there's a local group that's working on trying to get this straightened around. Gavilan today has basically put the shutdown on it. They refused to answer any questions or any information that I asked for that was in closed session because they claim it's all secret. Well, let me tell you something. The only thing secret about this is their intentions. I'm prepared to offer a letter from the chancellor showing that prior to November 2006, from the chancellor of Gavilan, Gavilan already had plans to move that JPA to Coyote Valley and did not tell anyone in San Benito County about it. And that has always been their plan, and they kept it secret until just toward the end, and they just authorized $17 million to do it. That is complete nonsense, and I hope that this city council will ask for an explanation, and I'm prepared to give a presentation in detail using their own documents to show what's going on. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have no other
Other
speakers cards.
speakers? Thank you. We'll move forward to item D1. Are we receiving an update from?
You know what, I apologize, I may have made a mistake, and I did not, I did not confirm with Harry about this evening. I apologize. I will put it back on the agenda for September, what is it, 2nd?
Do you need us to make
Oh,
a
that's
motion to table that?
Or continue it, probably.
Is there a motion to continue to?
So move.
Second, oh,
All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0. Move forward to item E1.
Mr. Mayor, I'm gonna go ahead and excuse myself.
Yes.
Okay.
Mayor Velazquez and council members, this is a public hearing item. I'd like to present our consultant. She's very well versed with this community block grant. It relates to our program income, and this is Lori Adams of Adams Ashby, and she's going to provide some background on the purpose of the public hearing and how it relates to our program income. Thank you.
Mayor, City Council. I've been working with the city for the 13 CDBG 8956 contract, and as a part of the process, HCD has made some significant changes as they've reevaluated their interpretation of some federal regulations with a shift of staff at HUD. That has impacted your process of working with program income from here into the future, and is requiring substantial changes in order to make things move forward efficiently and effectively. But it's much different than what existed currently. Just to clarify, program income is funding that had been spent on loans that had gone out through first-time homebuyer or rehab loans and was paid back to the city. This also includes your business loans that have gone out and been paid back. So the money that comes back in is what is established as program income. Currently, you have those set up, previously, you had those set up in revolving loan fund accounts, which then went back out into the community in the forms of business loans or rehab loans or first-time homebuyer loans. As of July 1, that is no longer allowed under the current process, so we have to now look at the options that you have. The state has decided that you are automatically moving the fund into what they call general program income, and you're allowed to expend it on anything that's eligible under CDBG. In your public hearing notice, we've provided a list of all of those items that are eligible. For example, homeownership assistance, public facilities and public improvements, public service programs, planning studies related to general administration, economic development, business assistance, and microenterprise activities. You aren't required to have a revolving loan fund set aside in order to do those. You can move freely within those programs. The second option that you have is to develop a revolving loan fund, which is specifically set aside to conduct those loans, and you wouldn't be able to do anything else with the funding. All of your freedom to choose projects would be eliminated. The challenge that you have is you have an open contract. The regulation requires that all funding be expended of program income prior to accessing any grant funds. So the complication now is you have a grant, and unless this program income is expended or allocated to a project, you're not able to draw down any grant funds, and this money would then be spent on your current grant projects rather than on a allowed CDBG activity. So we're here tonight to conduct a public hearing to discuss the options and to consider staff's recommendation to complete a supplemental activity request, which would be added to your current 13 contract for a sidewalk program that would establish an area of benefit for the areas of your community which meet the low mod income residents. And in your memorandum, we've provided a chart that outlines the census tract and block groups that are allowed. And then those funds would be allocated to that specific project, amended to your 13 contract, and then you would be able to access your grant funds and complete this project at the same time. Does that just like, whew, right?
So now it's, you're saying we have to spend 100% of it? It's not 50%?
That is
Any
correct.
longer?
So the 50% rule is related to the new grant money. In order to apply for new funding under CDBG, 50% has to be expended.
Okay.
Well, you have this pot of money that you already have that's required to be expended before you can even touch the grant money that you've been allocated.
Okay,
So you're in a kind of a catch-22.
gotcha.
So does it have to be spent, or does it have to be identified to do a project?
So we amend your contract, however we determine the use to be. And the way this works is a kind of a crazy little financial process. As you spend on your projects, you will first spend your PI funds on those projects, but then the state will move grant money down into your supplemental activity. So it just kind of goes in a circle. So your PI will then be expended prior to the grant funds being drawn down, because that'll be out of your supplemental contract.
Okay. Any other questions from council? Are there any speaker cards?
So the process will be to open a public hearing, take comments, close a public hearing, and then we've provided a request for staff direction.
Okay. And at this time, we'll open it for public hearing.
Marty Richard from Hollister. First of all, let me thank the presenter. That was an excellent presentation of a very complex thing. You explained it very, very well. It's hard to keep track of even with your good explanation, but you did a great job. I'm serious. That's very well explained. I was a little disappointed unless I missed it, when the Safe Streets or the Street Justice, whatever the name of it, was presented. Thank you. I don't think any of those were on the west side, any of those, were they? I didn't notice any. So I have no objection, certainly, to do street improvements. I would like to see, since our west side plan hasn't moved along very well, I would like to see that concentrated over on the west side, because that's where the streets are the worst, in my opinion, just from I think they're the most dangerous too, because that's where people are walking when there's no sidewalks. And I see people out there with baby carriages, and you know how nervous I get when the traffic goes by. So if you want to spend, I don't know how much money you have and how far it'll go, but I would like to see a component of it, and this might complicate matters, go into something that will return us the ability to improve our city over the long term, and that would be economic development. I'm still not happy with the economic development. See, it doesn't mean we haven't made progress, but we really haven't made the kind of year-round progress we need to make. I believe, I hope the council will look into getting a top-level manager for the EDC, not a top-level presenter, not the front of the face, but the person in the background who runs the place. If you go to Disneyland and you go take their special tour on how Disney's a success, they show you the front of everything, and then they take you in the back and show you the back of everything, what the customers don't see. And that's what makes it go, is what the customers don't see. So, you know, we're going to get a top-level presenter for the front of our CDs, our economic development program, but we need a top-level manager who is accountable in the back and runs a tight ship, because we have to establish an income that will go year after year after year, so we can make these improvements every year rather than just use it all up. I don't know how you balance that out. There may not be enough money, but for the sidewalk program, the west side is my recommendation. Thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
Right,
I
have
think
no other
Mr.
speaker
Snow
cards
has
for
a
this.
comment.
Thank you. Oh,
Thank you.
yeah.
Did Mr.
What's called that? I got the thing from the Varta primary. I like to think it's good, but I kind of put it in a way. It's called self, like self-doing, like sufficient. What we are doing, and not to see like a manager, project manager. So see, one thing we're lacking, I put on my website, is that we got all these engineers, we got all these workers. We see one thing, it's called brains, right? Is what we're wasting spending. It's called coordination, organize, prioritize. You need things in order. And one thing, you have to count like order, like court, right? Know what I'm saying? And one thing, we need that. When I see that project before, it's amazing. When the other person did the presentation, she's so like affected the future of the city. So it's like me, I live right down Sunslope. And I sprained my ankle so many times, and I'm waiting to guys fix the sidewalk. And that's the thing that you guys are wrong. I never heard you guys charge a homeowner on the sidewalk. That's ridiculous. You charge. I don't know if you can do that. The city owns the streets. City owns the streets, sidewalks, not the homeowners. That's very. I mean, that's. I don't know if you guys can do that. You can't for the homeowner for the property they own. They don't. They're common sense. The people that don't on the streets, people on the sidewalks. See, California does. California's on the streets, not the homeowner. So I don't know if we can do that. If I was a homeowner and you guys did that to me, I'm still city again, like nothing in the agenda. Because I didn't know, well, I like pay in my pocket to fix sidewalk. No, don't go with that. I'm for the people. You guys represent the people, you know. And one thing, guys doing things, got to things off the wall. What we do in the city, we're wasting money. We guys are
Mr.
wasting.
Snow, please stay on this topic.
Okay.
This is a public hearing on this item.
Okay, well, I'm saying my deed to you guys, right? For free, finds free, again, right?
Mr. Snow,
Okay,
this is
well, and I'm saying on projects.
this is a conversation about this item on the
okay,
agenda, about this grant.
Okay,
So we have to stay focused on
Okay,
this
well, you
subject.
guys spend
Okay.
all on the project, thank you.
Thank you very much.
I have no other
As
speakers
we-
for this item.
Okay, at this time, we'll close the public hearing. Okay.
So the staff is requesting direction to prepare the supplemental activity request to add to the 13 CDBG contract. That will consist of conducting a second public hearing, reviewing the activity application that will be submitted to the Department of Housing and Community Development in the amount of about $375,000. Although that is not your current balance is $305,000. We want to anticipate any other funds that would be coming into the contract during the time that the grant is open, so that you aren't trying to figure out what to do with any other balances that may trickle in during that contract period. And at that time, you would hold another public hearing and then approve the supplemental application for submittal to the state.
Okay, so tonight you're looking for consensus for us to,
To direct staff,
To direct staff.
if that's if you agree with the sidewalk activity.
is there a consensus with the council to move forward?
What portion is the sidewalk activity of the proposed funds?
It would be the balance of the funds.
Okay.
About 305,000.
Mhm.
Sorry. About 305,000.
I have a question about this
The map? Mhm.
little map. I notice you have some areas that are highlighted in yellow.
Yes.
Are those areas that are talking about on this,
Those,
the Better Street project that you're talking about, Mary?
I believe that it covers some of those areas, or?
Because I noticed there's an area of the west side that's been colored yellow, and I was wondering.
These represent the blocks that are eligible under CDBG.
I see, okay.
Sorry,
I'll shut up.
sorry.
So the improvements that we're talking about will happen
In these-
primarily in those areas?
That's correct. That is correct.
whichever ones we decide. as priority.
Yes, I'm assuming your staff, your engineering staff would get together and determine the best use of the funding in those areas. And let me just explain, the city is not considered a overall low mod community, so you have to look specifically at those sections of the community which meet that 51% low mod criteria. So that's what we've done here, is kind of outlined those areas that automatically qualify.
Well, it would be nice if somehow, before our next public hearing, that this information could get out to people who live in these shaded areas or yellowed areas, so they can come to us with some ideas on improvements. We could sit up here and guess on which are the ones we should attack, but I think it would be, like Marty says, there may be areas that we're not thinking about. I don't live in the west side, so I don't see the streets. I know where there's some bad streets in my section.
It's, we're focusing on sidewalks, not streets, so we just, make sure
But
we
either
clarify
way,
that.
sidewalks that are raised up,
Yeah, and to be frank with you, is that I believe our mayor has seen the list in the past. It is, our streets department has compiled a list of areas where there's the greatest offsets in sidewalks as a result of trees and whatnot. And I think one of the goals of the city would be to look at those areas on the map that qualify, that have the greatest number of are the worst or the most dilapidated sidewalks there are, and attack those first.
or no sidewalks at all.
Or no sidewalks.
And
at
work,
all.
work the gaps.
Okay, okay, thank you.
Is there
Mr. Mayor,
consensus?
I'm sorry, I have a question. Because this is CDB, do you need a motion or just consensus?
Just consensus at this time. The next hearing will require a motion.
Thank you for the clarification.
Okay, is there a consensus?
I think there is consensus.
Mr. Gomez? I'm
Direct
good with
staff-
moving forward.
Staff
Thank you.
directed, okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
You do.
Sorry.
Hey, you did so well there. We'll move forward to E2.
Okay. This particular item is the last time you will ever see this format come before you. With the changes in CDBG, the annual grantee performance report is being taken away and will no longer be a requirement. But through June 30th, we are required to conduct a hearing and report on the accomplishments that occurred last year with your CDBG program income. And this report has been provided to you and has demonstrated that you had 2 loans made for a total of $270,000 through your business loan program. And let's see here. General administration funds that were expended was $7,176. Of that, $104,000 was expended on a woman-owned contract. You had a total of 1 African-American and 7 other multiracial individuals who were assisted, of which 7 reported as Hispanic other. And outlined for income, 1 of the families met the 30% or below, 5 were between 31 and 50, 1 was between 51 and 80, and 1 was above 80%. I apologize. These were jobs created. Not individuals who received loan money. These were the jobs created from the loan funds that were expended. The jobs that were created included 2 semi-skilled operational, 4 unskilled labor, and 2 service workers. And I can answer any questions that you might have before you open the hearing.
Any questions from council? No? Okay, at this time I'll open the hearing. Do we have any speakers?
I have none.
This time we'll close the hearing.
And a simple direct staff to submit the report is all that's required.
Is that in form of a motion?
Yes.
I'll make the motion that we get that report from staff.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, motion carries. 3-0 vote. 1 abstain.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you for, like Marty said, making that understandable.
Thank you. I know that's a hard one, so I appreciate the approval.
Just for the record, Councilmember Valdivia excused herself to avoid any potential conflict of interest. We'll move forward to item F1 now.
Thank you, Mayor. I'll try to make this quick. This is something that Brad and our city attorney's office has been working on for the past several months. It's basically essentially the staff is requesting that you read by and waive full reading of the ordinance number 1104 to establish Community Facilities District number 4 and basically ratify a vote, the results of a vote or a ballot to incorporate a project down on the south side of San Benito Street and annex into the new Community Facility District number 4. I think we've had some discussion about this at previous meetings. I believe one on June 2nd and the next one on June 17th, I believe it was. So.
All right. Are there any questions from council? Any speakers?
Motion to approve resolution 2014-170.
Second.
All in favor?
Yeah.
Aye, motion carries 4-0 vote.
And
Move forward with F2.
there,
And the
yeah,
ordinance.
there's a
Is there,
ordinance 11, motion to introduce ordinance 1104.
okay. Do we need to revote on that to make that clear?
Yes.
That's a motion, there is a second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries 4-0 vote. Move forward to F2.
This is another item, bear with me one second. This item has been discussed in intergovernmental and a couple of other places, I believe even at the city council level, is to direct staff and to have COG put the four-lane widening Highway 25 back on the constrained project list and have the new traffic impact fee model updated to reflect that project. So COG is in the process right now of RFPs, searching for a new traffic engineer to prepare the new traffic model impact fee study. Again, and this is a project that will be included on there again. And hopefully, I believe they're shooting for about a 9 to 12 month completion process, so it'll be back in front of you folks at that time. As you know, COG is sort of our regional transportation agency. They have been charged with the task in the past of putting together a regional traffic impact fee model, and the county, I think, has taken the same action, so we're following suit.
Okay, is there any questions from council?
I have a couple of things. Ray had his opportunity to dig into the county, so will I. So I'm kidding. I do want to request one change to the resolution, just to make it a little bit more clear on what direction the city of Hollister wants to take. And I'm happy that the county adopted their own version of this ordinance. I think the sad part is that we could have gotten this accomplished 6 or 7 months ago by including it in the regional transportation plan. Therefore, AMBAG would have included it in their regional transportation plan. So here we are duplicating work because of political reasons. But anyway, it sounds like now the county representatives are supportive of getting it back on the constrained list after not supporting it for quite a while. And I'm happy to see that this is going to get back on, hopefully back onto the constrained list of projects and back into our traffic impact mitigation fee study. So with that said, I just want to make a friendly amendment to the resolution under now therefore be it resolved. That second to last paragraph ends with adding the county line as a project on the constrained list. I do want to add these specific words, if it's okay with my fellow council members and the mayor, and that is with the knowledge that the city of Hollister intends to increase its own traffic impact mitigation fee to help fund the necessary Highway 25 improvements. And the reason I want that included in there is because this Thursday we will have a discussion on potential funding, and that's been the argument all along with Highway 25 is how are we going to pay for it? So one of the arguments there, the folks that are opposed to it are saying is that we don't have the funding for it. Yet we've been paying for it, or we did pay for it for 25 years. So we need to get this back on the constrained list of projects, and including it back into our constrained list of projects through this TIF funding is going to be imperative. So I just want to make sure that we include that amendment to the resolution, if possible.
Okay. Is there any other questions from council? I guess the question I would ask, and I appreciate Councilmember Gomez staying on this very important item and actually spearheading this to bring it back to us. At the on the top, it does say the update to the transportation impact mitigation fee and its general plan and policies. Does that cover it, or do we need to add what Councilmember Gomez is pointing out? I think he's correct in what he's saying. We want to make sure we're not being slowed down anywhere.
Yeah.
I'm just curious if that covers what he's saying, or if that needs to be added.
I don't think there's an issue with adding the language
Okay.
that Councilman Gomez wants to add at the end. I think it's just making it very clear that we understand that as part of our contribution, we will be collecting the same fee.
Very clear.
Yeah, and that's I just wanted to make sure that there was no, hey, what does that language actually mean? If we put it in there specifically, then we won't have necessarily an argument from the other folks.
Are there other comments from council? Do we have any?
What's,
Councilmember Friend?
in your opinion, being that you are on GOG, if we approved or it magically the funding is found and they decide to use that funding to do that work to the county line, what do you hear from Santa Clara County? Are we gonna be bottlenecked at the railroad tracks?
Yeah, so, well, thanks. That's a good question, Ray, and I appreciate you asking that. So, as you may know, my boss works as a director for the Valley Transit Authority, and I've been working with Gilroy City Council Member Woodward and a council member from the city of Morgan Hill, and the Valley Transportation Authority has also made it Highway 152 an important project for them. They understand the impacts that it has on commerce, so they've made progress to get the 152 corridor back on their constrained list of projects as well. While the Highway 152 improvements from Highway 101 to Highway 99 are in the billions of dollars, but this section that Santa Clara County is interested in would be realigned through the northern portion of San Benito County and meet up at a possible flyover at the railroad tracks. So the 152 would cut across through the fields there, meet up right where the railroad tracks and the county line meet up, and Highway 25 would end there. And Highway 152 would then take what is currently Highway 25 in the Santa Clara County portion. That would become 152, and they would take care of those improvements.
That was gonna be my second question. The last drawings I saw showed that coming across and actually meeting up with 101 around the Bloomfield Ranch. And it would be a jog for 25 to go on to 152 to 101.
Yeah, and it also includes the new intersection improvements of 101 and the new Highway 152, which is currently the 25 intersection. It would extend Highway 25 or the new 152 straight through to connect to Gavilan College to Santa Teresa. That way folks wouldn't have to go through Gilroy either. So all of that is part of the project. Obviously, that's a Santa Clara County discussion, and they're talking about it right now. That's quite a bit of money. They're talking about a possible toll road, which is very controversial, but they actually have a private developer that I'd rather not name right now, a private developer that's actually interested in developing that roadway. So, you know, I look at that, and then I look at possibly getting Highway 25 back on the constraint list and working these two projects together in coordination with VTA. That would be pretty awesome. And they're actually looking to identify the $8 million that are still needed to finish the environmental impact report through the northern portion of San Benito County. So, and that looks like it's probably going to come up. So.
Thank you.
Any other questions from council? Do we have any speaker cards?
Keith Snow?
Council, Victor, I know you work at this 10 over the San Jose in another few months. So one thing that we're lacking, we have all the engineers. When you guys, I'll get this. I'm very good at what I do, right? So when I ever present the council, right? I mean, that's our work. When do parts, right? We all spend, we waste spending. First, we gotta do a survey. Survey transfer, I'm for that. I'm for whining. We all know, the old that track right there, San Claron's the side out there. We shouldn't worry about that. We should worry about our side. And if you are going to side, then yeah, then charge them for the project. And another thing is we should do have a surveyor to do the project. We should do the project. We should do the blueprints. Why we have these engineers? Dave, Louis, and I think that one Dan. We should see what they are, what they're about. And one thing that is called self-efficiency. Let go about that. Why we spend money on projects, like I said before. When you bring things in agenda, I did things professionally, right? If I run the city, you council run the city, right? You represent the people, I'll be more professional.
Mr. Snow, this is not a time to campaign. If you have a question
I'm
about
not talking about campaign.
the attorney before explained to you that you're violating the law by campaigning at a city council meeting.
I will not campaign. I'm giving you guys an idea. Use the laws. Use that on you guys' bit on the average. I'm not here to campaign. I'm here for us EP4. I'm a citizen, right? And maybe, like I said that, no.
Mr. Snow, what is your question about the item?
Well, I'm saying free speech, right? I'm saying free speech, right? What I'm trying to get at. When you guys bring things to council with the on the agenda, I'm just I give you guys advice for free fund speed, right? You guys should have things in order. My things as a taxpayer, right? You guys should have things in organized before you do it.
Mr. Snow, what is your question exactly?
My question is, I oppose raising taxes. What if it's saying about raising tax impact things or any other fees, I oppose it. My guess. Thank you.
Okay, well, we appreciate your comments, Mr. Snow, but it's,
thank you, sir.
thank you very much. It's important to know that Caltrans owns Highway 25. We don't, so any work that's done on Highway 25 has to be done and approved, engineered, surveyed by Caltrans. Now, what we can do and what Mr. Gomez is doing is working to make sure Caltrans stays focused on this project, because without extending it to 4 lanes, we can't bring the jobs that we need to our community. That's why this is such a big project and an important project. And part of having that happen is Caltrans will not move on this if the community is not participating in part of the funding. So Councilmember Gomez has done a very good job on this, and I appreciate the input and the steadiness on this.
Marty Richmond?
Marty Richmond, thank you.
sorry to have to come up so many times, but my brain won't stop working this time of night. Marty Richmond from Hollister. I wanted to make some comments. First of all, get a map, and right where the 152 flyover is, was brought up as proposed, at our side of the county line, just kind of draw a big circle and mark that, the San Benito County Outlet Center, right there, where 152 is going to go into 25 and become something else to go to 101, because that's essentially the kind of operation you got up there right now in the other, up the road. So that's good. And I have no objection at all to Councilman Gomez's idea of amending the resolution, and I understand he wants to get on with it. And so in the spirit of getting on with it, that's fine with me. But I do want to point out for other future ones, the transportation consultant and the general plan consultant for the county was very clear in public testimony that everybody lies when it comes to we're going to have the money. And if you don't lie, you will have the glory of saying I did not lie, and you will also have the regret of saying I don't have any roads at all. So there is no requirement to actually have the money in your hand to put yourself on the constraint list. All you have to do is say, I expect to get the funds. And since not being on the constraint list means you're not getting anything on that project, we must stay on the constraint list. So in spite of the politics involved, the 25 politics will be handled by Mr. Gomez's well thought out, we're just going to get over it. I agree with that. But on the other items, it is time to start a fight, okay? Now, we're either going to fight for the city or we're going to go nowhere. And the fight is going to be this. No one in this entire state has the money in hand to build those roads when they put them on the constraint list. They all say, we think we're going to get it in 30 years. Because who knows what's going to happen in 30 years? But they stay on the list. And by staying on the list, they get considered. It's a lot easier to get the money when Caltrans says, okay, we're going to build it. You guys have to come up with the money. People are acceptance of that. They don't like paying 30 or 40 years of impact fee money on some hope that they don't know is ever going to come true. So it's a lot easier to do it that way. So after we get over this, it is time to pick a political fight with the county and say, look, we understand that if you had your way, the majority of you would just blow the roads up and trap the 35,000 people who live here in here, as long as we will pay enough taxes to support a county that basically is doing nothing. But we don't see it that way. We believe our people who live here and commute deserve a chance to move forward and progress like everybody else. So we demand that you stop playing political games with things like impact fees for roads. I don't care who you make pay the impact fee. This business of, oh, if we don't pay it, the developer won't pay it. Oh, you can always tell the developer, you want that road, you want that development, you pay it. That's what happens everywhere in this entire state. It's all about bribing the local community to get the development you want. That's the way it works. We all know that. What are we making believe? So the developers will pay, and they will build the road, and they will do all that. The purpose of this other thing is to make sure they never get started. This is basically Measure G by the back door, okay? It's not acceptable to the people who live in San Benito. That's why it was voted down, okay? And this will never change unless you demand fair representation. This is a rigged county. It's in violation of the Voting Act. Although they've stuffed a couple of districts down here with the poorer people so that the 3 votes from the rural areas can control it. It's illegal. You're going to have to threaten to sue them. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
No others.
Mr. Mayor,
Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah, if I could, just really quick, I just want to elaborate a little bit more on this, just so folks understand the, not in that part of it, Marty, but just so people get a little bit of clarification on, I think, what you meant too regarding, that funding. Having the difference obviously between having something on the unconstrained and constrained list is its qualifications for funding. And that's why we want it on there. We're not saying that, hey, we're putting Highway 25 on there because now we have the money. Marty said it right on. You put it on there because you hope to have the money one day. Monterey County has a ton of projects listed on their constrained list of projects that was adopted by AMBAG. They have one of the listed forms of revenue for Monterey County for their transportation funding or their constrained list of projects is a sales tax. They're saying that a sales tax will be funded or will be approved and will help fund the majority of these projects that are listed in San Benito County. This supposed sales tax has failed twice. Okay, so we need to make sure that Highway 25 is on there for future funding, future allocation from the state and federal agencies. I met with the federal lobbyist last week that works for a couple of these firms that a couple of the Board of Supervisors hate in San Jose. And this individual that I sat down with that lobbies the Federal Highway Administration, his first question was, is Highway 25 on your constrained list of projects? And I told him, no, it's not. As of right now, it's not. We're working on getting it on. He said, if it's not on your constrained list of projects, there's nothing to talk about. Period. So, what the constrained list of projects is a dream. It's something that we hope to accomplish as a community, and Highway 25 must be a part of it. And I hope that one day, sooner than later, I'll travel on a four-way road between here and the county line.
It'll be sooner rather than later.
Yep. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Is there a motion?
I'll
Mr.
go ahead and
Gomez?
make a motion to approve resolution 2014-171
So-
as amended, the resolution before as amended with the wording.
And I could provide that if you need it, Jerry.
I'll second the motion.
So, motion and second, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries 4-0 vote. Thank you very much. Let's move forward to item G, reports from city council member committees. Councilmember Gomez?
I did not have any committee meetings.
Councilmember Valdivia?
I'll pass.
Councilmember Friend?
No,
I'd like to report from the Intergovernmental Committee. We did speak or have a long conversation about Highway 25 and the importance to stay focused on Highway 25 and to see this come to be realized, not in 30 years, but as quickly as possible. So we're going to have Caltrans make some presentations to that committee to help COG move forward on it. So the focus has been made clear that we want to find a solution for Highway 25, to find ways to do it for a lower dollar amount. Right now, it's scheduled at $225 million, and obviously that is a gold-plated highway. But we're going to get some more answers and work with COG to move it forward. At this point, the city and county are in agreement that it is a priority, so we're staying on this. We also discussed the homeless issue. We're going to be organizing a census in the county to find out the homeless are most vulnerable out there, so we can find a good count, so we understand what is needed to house those homeless. So that is ongoing and also moving rather quickly. On our fire committee, we are recommending to the county that Station 3 is located on Flynn Road next to the county jail, which would give it good access to Highway 25, the north part of the county and the east part of the county. Our chief has found a solution by buying an existing trailer nearby that would provide the space we need and get this station up and running rather quickly. Those are my reports. We'll move forward on informational reports from City Council. Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah, I didn't want to report this during my committee reports. It's not one of my committees, but tomorrow I will be attending the California Transportation Commission meeting in San Jose. They're going to have a special meeting down here with their Board of Commissioners, and they're going to be discussing alternate funding sources for local streets and roads. So it'll be an interesting conversation. They're going to talk about, I don't know if David's around here, but they're going to be discussing, you know, the thought of incorporating the Oregon and Washington Transportation Commission will be attending tomorrow. So they're going to be discussing what they've done with vehicle miles traveled, which I know is very controversial. And they're also going to be talking about VRF funding and how that has helped some jurisdictions for funding the maintenance of local streets and roads and different alternatives that counties have to raise money for improvements of pavement conditions in their city. So I'll have a report out next time if it's information that I think we could use here.
Okay. Councilmember Valdivia?
I have nothing to report.
Councilmember Friend?
No, nothing for me.
I'd like to report I had the opportunity to go tour Hollister Hills to see what they're doing out there and some of their plans. They have a new mountain bike track being built out there. Pretty impressive of what they've done out there, and they're going to continue to do quite a bit more. They're also adding hiking trails. And we also spoke about the need to open Clear Creek, get that back, how we could help, what we've done as the city council to push BLM, and what we're willing to do to help our Congressman Sam Farr get his bill approved so we can open Clear Creek. It's very important. It's a big impact economically to our community, and we do receive quite a few visitors from there, which is why we need more hotels here, which is why we were talking about the TOT earlier. So it's exciting news that they have some good people out there working, and it was a pleasure to spend time with them. Would also like to see if we can, for a future agenda, put Gavin College on there so they can explain to us what they are doing with that money that they're taking from our community, maybe demonstrate their plan and what is going on out there. City Manager.
Thank you, Mayor. I guess first part of last week you may have seen a new crew of guys out on sound walls.
All over the place. I love
yes,
it.
they're doing an excellent job. They were at around Lead Lane this morning cleaning up, and you can certainly tell where they have been compared to some of the places that they haven't been. Also, I'm not really pleased to report, but on late Thursday night, early Friday morning, we had a fire at the industrial treatment plant, which basically knocked out all power to the plant's aerators. And so Manny from Veolia got on the phone immediately. He's here if you have any questions specifically for him, but I want to tell you that it is an absolute pleasure working with Manny and Veolia. Within probably 17 hours, we had 4 generators, industrial-sized generators, basically truck and tractor-type generators coming from Modesto. The aerators were up and operating for the most part. I thought there would be a much larger odor than what we've experienced over the weekend. I apologize to the community if anybody did notice it, but I can tell you that today I was out there, and it was amazing. So I really want to thank Manny and his guys. They did a remarkable job. And Manny, do you have anything that you'd like to add, or? Yeah, you could go up. You have to now.
Well, I can't say, though, Veolia was, the tip of the spear on this. It really, once again, was a collaborative effort. The fire department, quite frankly, it was a very serious fire, and the building that was there, as humble facility as it is, I imagine they saved probably 95% of it, which, for all intents and purposes, you should have had nothing better than a nice foundation out there, had they not responded the way they did. Immediately after getting the situation safe and under control, they notified Veolia at 2:20 in the morning. And we responded to the site, assessed the condition, and then realized this was significant. At which point I reported to San Benito Foods and told them at 3:30 in the morning, you need to shut down. I liken that request to telling an engineer of a train going downhill full speed, oh, you need to stop because at the bottom of the hill the bridge is out. And the option is stop or lose the train. And they managed to stop that facility within 6 hours. That in itself was a phenomenal effort. Because of that, we were able to get things going. And again, kept in communication with city staff. By 7:10, 7:15, city staff was out there with Veolia assessing facility, asking for insight as to what was going to be done, how long it was going to take, if there's anything they needed to do to expedite the process. So they gave us the run we needed to make this happen. We got things up and going because of the work San Benito Foods did. We were able to get the plant up and running and limited the odors to the maximum extent practicable. So it was, again, a tough effort, good contractor, good response by all parties involved.
Thank you.
I want to add, I had the pleasure of once again going out to the ponds, even on my anniversary, to go make sure everything was okay. And I as what Bill said, I'm very impressed with your operation. This was an electrical fire, and I can tell you as an electrical contractor, when there's an electrical fire, you're really in trouble. And how everything went into motion and everything came through to make this thing go back online as quick as it did is very impressive. I know people are asking the question of why isn't there a built-in backup generator? That would have done no good here.
Right.
And as a matter of fact, it could have done more damage. So to see that operation happen as quickly as it did and get it running so that by Saturday morning there was no odors out there, I really want to thank you for doing it. And I want to thank Bill. Bill called us all immediately about it and let us know what was taking place. So I think everybody really worked well together.
And again, if you go back to the foresighted council, again, I'm waving the flag here for the company. So understand this for the commercial that it is. But when you selected Veolia, you selected a name that when we call into Calvary, they know that we're not set out some outfit, that came out of nowhere, that they can, the contractor moved forward with no PO, no contract. They just moved forward on Veolia's word alone that we needed this done, and they responded. And the work, the paperwork followed. But that is what you get when you hire Veolia Water. So we thank you for the opportunity to serve the city once again.
Councilmember Gomez?
Yeah, just one quick question, Manny, and thanks for everything that you and your folks did out there, in our fire department and our city staff as well. So what are the next steps? I mean, what happens with, it doesn't sound like that's something that you could fix during the cannery season.
No,
So-
we, part of the process when we initiated the work on Friday, we also tasked the responding contractor to develop some initial budgetary level costing on what it's going to take, time and cost. And we expect to have that by Wednesday, so then we do have a clearer perspective on what to do. City manager has also provided us with some latitude to move forward on that if it's appropriate to do so within the constraints provided.
Okay, great, thank you.
Thank you very much. City attorney or city manager, do you have any other?
Oh, no, that was it, thanks.
I actually had it had nothing to do with that, but I had another question too, something what Billy said earlier. Do you know when the crews are gonna get to the sound walls on Union Road?
Tomorrow.
Are you serious?
No, but I can make that happen, I'm sure.
Let me-
If I can, I don't deserve this job.
let me say this here. I watched the work today.
No,
and
I like the answer. I
There's
like
no-
the answer.
There's still a lot of work to do on Lad Lane. So these guys have been moving steady throughout the city. I've been watching them. So they're doing a good job. They're on Lad Lane right now. They have half the block
If they get
done.
tired of looking at Lad Lane, they
Well,
got somewhere else.
They're gonna probably wrap that up tomorrow,
Okay.
and then they can,
Yeah, and the reason I mentioned it is because the pine needles are on the, I walk through there when I'm walking my dogs or whatever, and that's actually something else I should probably report out. But there's like huge piles of the pine needles all over the
If it pleases
sidewalks.
that council, what I'd like to do is maybe get with Derek or Julian. I'm sure that they have some sort of schedule for the next week or two. I will present
Yeah.
that and forward that to you so that that everybody will have some understanding about where they're going to be.
Yeah,
So,
great, awesome,
okay.
thank you.
Sorry about that.
they really are moving quickly, and I
Oh, no,
think they obviously have a plan, and I've seen them move quickly day by day, so
Yes.
let them roll. City Attorney.
Yes, good evening, Mayor Soren Diaz here, and good evening, honorable members of the City Council. I do not have anything new to report at this time. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Chief.
Just one, well, actually two things. We're still working on the homicide case, getting more tips. Pretty frustrating right now, but we're still on it 24/7, and hopefully we'll hear some good words here in the next few days. Just a reminder, October 11th, we'll have the Red Ribbon Run. The first one in many years will be here. We invite the public to come out and enjoy that with the entire community. Thank you.
Starting.
Mr. Mayor, I have something for Chief.
Councilmember Gomez has a question, and then Councilmember Friend.
Yeah, it's not a question, but I
Or
just want to
comment.
thank you, Chief, one of your, one of your departments, and that's animal control. Last week sometime, my basset hounds decided to knock down a couple of panels on my fence and decided to go on an afternoon stroll through our neighborhood. And there are two basset hounds, so the biggest threat they could be is eating your food. But they got out, and kids called me, and I called the animal shelter, and yeah, they were found strolling around the neighborhood looking for cookies or something. So anyway, I went down and picked them up and from jail. And but I just had to tell you that your staff was very courteous, and actually a couple of them didn't know who I was, so I really liked that, because then they just treated me like any other customer bailing his dogs out. So, but it was great, and I just wanted to thank your staff
Thank you.
for
I'll
that.
pass it on. Thank
Yeah.
you.
They don't have your picture on their wall out there? Be on the lookout. Councilmember Friend.
I just had a question that was reported in the media that you had made another request to the state on additional funding for the WETIP issue. Have you heard anything back from the state?
So, yeah, we made a request through the governor's office. There's a state program. It's actually been in place for around 30 years. We've sent off the request. I believe that Senator Cannell's office sent a support letter, as did Assemblymember Alejo's as well. We have not heard yet, but hopefully the next few days we will hear.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. City Clerk.
Thank you. I actually received a thank you note today from a lady on Sunny Slope Road that we had done her sound walls, or the sound walls along Sunny Slope, so she was very pleased. The only other thing I have is to ask council for direction, because the next regularly scheduled meeting is to be held on September 2nd, which is the day following the Labor Day holiday. Two of our council members will be out of town at the League of California Cities Annual Conference. So you have an option to either hold that meeting on September 8th, or just cancel the meeting of September 2nd due to lack of quorum, and have everything conducted at the meeting on September 15th. our finance director might.
Do we have any pressing issues that,
Do we have any pressing issues, Mr. City Manager?
I apologize, what was the question?
Either cancel the meeting on September 2nd or have it on September 8th.
Oh, yeah, we talked about that, that's a good idea. We'll cancel the 2nd and go to the 8th.
we need it on the 8th?
Yeah.
Okay.
We do need it, or can we hold it till the 15th?
I think we probably should. I noticed that when we take that whole time off, it ends up being,
Huge meeting?
yeah.
So
Okay.
we meet on September 8th?
So
Yeah,
we'll
and
meet-
we have the CDBG project that we probably should have the public hearing for, and a couple of other things to
Right.
take care of.
So we'll meet on the 8th and the 15th.
Yes. That's all I have.
That
Thank you.
works. Yes. Thank you.
And before we move on, I'd like to also have Brett give a report. We got some additional good news.
It's a small one, just to let you know that the Government Finance Officers Association has awarded our financial statements once again, and I just wanted to let the council know.
Thank you very much.
I'd like to
Thank you
thank
for making
council
those
and staff on that.
so easy to read and
Great.
easy to understand, so thank you. Okay, we're going to move forward now to item G3. I am going to turn the gavel over to Vice Mayor Valdivia to avoid any potential conflicts of interest.
Okay, thank you. Okay, then, we'll have a report from, for 2014 rally. Somebody care?
It's actually kind of funny that he left, because what I wanted to do, actually, is if it pleases the council, I'd like to also have this item moved to the September 8th agenda as well. So I was hoping to have a little bit more information for you folks, and I didn't quite get it. So again, staff is recommending that we take action or make a motion to continue this item to the September 8th meeting, and I will be more prepared.
Okay, somebody wants to move?
So move?
I have a,
Second, all in favor? Right?
I had a question. I
Oh,
wanted
you have, a question before. I thought you seconded, I'm sorry.
to, no, I just,
You need a second
it
before you
says here,
can.
it says here in the notes.
But, yeah, I know we need to second it, then we can discuss it. Yeah, because we have a motion on the floor. You want to
You
second it?
No, let the motion die until I ask my question.
Oh, but aren't we supposed to just, can we do that?
You can either have a second to then discuss it or let the motion die.
I'll second the motion.
Okay, go ahead.
Now, it says in your notes that you were going to report on the status of the 2014 Raleigh contract with the Hollister Downtown Association. I don't understand what the problem is.
Well, there was terms and conditions of the contract that we have with the HDA, which was really just about for last year. And there are some terms and conditions that I want to report to you. I just haven't gotten all the information yet as to, it's really about the finance part of it. And so that's kind of what I'm
Then
holding off on.
I would like to request some time with you to discuss some issues that we need to clarify in that contract. If we're going to take the time to do that, we need to clarify some things. in that contract.
For future contracts or the old one?
Well,
Both.
if we clarify
Yeah,
the
yeah.
old one, it'll
Yeah,
be
right.
the new one.
Okay, yeah, understood.
Okay, all right. Thank you.
Okay. Okay,
I still
so,
second the motion.
okay, so, any more questions? If not, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Stand approved, we can call in a meeting.
Thank you.
Mayor Velasquez, we decided to move the report to December 8th for more information.
Thank you very much. Move forward to item G4.
I am requesting a subcommittee of 2 council members to interview applicants for completion of Mr. Scatini's term for District 2. As of the deadline today at 5 o'clock, I received 2 applications.
You have 2 applications. Okay, at this point, I'd like to nominate Councilmember Friend and myself for that committee.
Second?
All
I'll
in
make a
favor?
motion to approve or whatever.
Do we need a motion? Yeah. We have-
Oh, sorry, I'll make the motion to approve.
Okay, I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries 4-0 vote.
Motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you very much, everyone.